My name is Tanya Lentz, and I am an early childhood mental health consultant with Children's Resource Center. And our topic today for our chat is going to be responding to tantrums. This is kind of a part two to a training that we did last Thursday with Mandy, and that was how to prevent tantrums. And today we're going to really be talking about how to respond to tantrums. Okay, so the first thing is, why do tantrums happen? So a lot of parents will ask us this question, and it's just really important to understand that tantrums are a normal part of development. Kids really, their brains aren't developed enough to really think logically, and they have all these big emotions that are hard for them to deal with and regulate. So tantrums are how they respond. So it's really important for parents to understand that this is normal and that they don't need to be embarrassed by them, and that kiddos are just struggling. And so they need our help a little bit to help them through it and to understand what's going on. And so what it really comes down to is the brain, and the brain is where it all starts. And so understanding what's going on in a kiddo's brain can help us as adults better understand what's going on. So typically when a child is tantruming, we really see them go down into their brainstem a little bit. And that's the red area here. I really like this graph because it really helps us understand what's going on when kids are escalated or feeling like they're unsafe, and they come down into this brainstem and they're not thinking. That's really the most important thing. They just are not able to logically think when they're down here in their survival state. They might be screaming, they might be aggressive, they might be hitting, kicking, they might be running. They're not sure if they're safe. Sometimes we'll see kids kind of freeze a little bit, where they're not screaming, they're not running, they're not really doing anything, they just look really scared. And so a lot of times in this brainstem is what we talk about as the fight, flight, or freeze state. This is really survival mode. And so whenever somebody gets into a dangerous situation where they feel like they're not safe, we will all come down into this brainstem survival state. What's most important thing to realize is that we just need to stop right here and try to limit our words as much as possible, because kids aren't able to process. And as parents, sometimes we will even make statements like, why are you doing that? Or why did you do that? And they're not able to respond because their brain's not letting them think logically. So it's really important that we just kind of stop, freeze, try to keep them as safe as possible, keep everyone else around them safe, and just let them calm down a little bit. When we come down into the brainstem, it's also important to understand that our brain develops from the bottom up. And once we come down into the brainstem, we have to go back up through blue to get back to the green. And the blue state is what we call the limbic system. Things are changing here. They still feel a little crazy, nervous, anxious. And so we really just need to be there for them during that as well. The goal is to get them back into the green state, which is what we call the executive state, or the prefrontal lobe. And this is where all the good stuff happens. This is where kids are able to learn because they're calm and they feel safe. So anytime we get into a tantrum, we need to come back. We're down in red. We need to get up through blue and get back to that green state, which is where we want the kids to feel safe and be calm and able to learn. So how do you do that? How do you get a kiddo from a tantruming state to the executive state where we can learn? And there's some 4 steps here that I've listed, and we're going to talk about each one of those and how that's going to help the kiddo in that situation. The first one I have listed here is label the feelings. So we're gonna talk about feelings a little bit. In this slide, it really just talks about how to explain feelings to kids and how you can mirror that for kids and show them what it looks like. So we want to describe and mirror the emotional signal the child's face and body are providing by saying things like, your eyes went like this, and then demonstrate with your body. So name the feeling being communicated. For example, you seem angry. I saw your body tense up and your face got really red. And just so they know that these feelings are normal, show them what you see, mirror on your face, so they can communicate with you through their feelings. The next thing we want to do is show empathy. So when a child is in that tantrum state, they don't feel like they're safe. Their emotions are all over the place. So we want to be available to them and as near as comfortable. Some kiddos really aren't ready for people to be around them when they are out of control or feeling like their feelings are out of control. So we want to kind of judge that by the signals they're giving us. If you sit down and they come over and want to sit on your lap, that's great. We can be there. We can hug them and comfort them in a very non-threatening way and try to help them feel safe. If your kiddo is the type of kiddo that doesn't want people to touch him when he's upset, we want to respect that. Be there, sit as comfortable or as near as possible. But if they're not ready for you to touch them, that's okay. You can just say things like, it's okay. I'm going to sit right here and I'm going to help you be safe. And just be really calm with them and show some empathy that you're there and everything's going to be okay. The next thing that we talk about with kiddos is co-regulation. We want to teach kids how to regulate their emotions, and they are co-regulators, which means if we model these things for them, they will regulate with us. And what that looks like is, first we talk about breathing. We want the person or the adult sitting with them to model good deep breathing with them. And so we want to take deep breaths ourselves. The key is for the exhale to take longer than the inhale. So we want to inhale through our nose, and this picture here shows about how to take a nice deep breath. And so we want to like breathe in like we're smelling a flower. So we want to breathe in through our nose. We want to hold it for a second, and then we want to blow out nice and long and like we're blowing on that pinwheel to try to push it around. Okay, so we want to do these nice and slow. Take deep breaths in through our nose and blow them out through our mouth. When kids see us doing that, they tend to start breathing nice and slow and deep with us, and that will help regulate some of their emotions. Another thing that kiddos really like and will regulate with us is rhythm and repetition. It's very soothing to kiddos because it happens from birth with them. When kiddos are young and infants, we tend to rock them to help them get to sleep. We tend to pat their backs. So this is another thing that we can do with kids to help them calm and get back to that sense of safety. So some kiddos will crawl over, get up in our laps, and we can pat them on the back and we can rock with them. Some kiddos are not ready for that yet, and they might just be sitting next to us, but we can still teach them how to do this by rocking our bodies back and forth. And sometimes you can tap your leg just a little bit and just get some of that rhythm and repetition going, and they will then start regulating and co-regulating with us. So even though you might not be able to pick them up and hug them and rock them and pat their backs to help them, just by doing these things, we can help them co-regulate a little bit by doing them next to them. Another thing that we can do is what we call creating a safe place. And if anybody watched Connie Gross's um, parent chat a couple weeks ago, she talked about how to create a safe place at home. And so I provided a couple examples of what these look like in the home. And really what we want them to do is just a place where the child can go to calm down and be alone. We want it to be nice and comfortable. So if you see in the pictures, nice comfy rugs, pillows, soft lights. Um, and then this one over here, we have a rug and we have a little mat and some pillows, stuffed animals, dolls, anything that's nice and soft and can be comforting to them. Also, we want to provide some things that will help them calm down. We can use like buckets, where we can put some fidgets in them. We can put markers and paper, because a lot of kids like to color or draw when they're um, trying to calm down. Stuffed animals is another great resource, or a doll that they can hug, squeeze, maybe even pat their back and kind of do some co-regulation with the stuffed animals. Um, so anything that really helps your child calm. Sometimes Play-Doh or slime. Kids really like the feeling of that. So just kind of being comfortable with your kiddos and understanding what might help calm them. Next, I included some child-friendly apps that help with calming and self-regulation. So a lot of times kids like to grab our phones and they like to play games on them, especially when you are out at the store shopping or maybe even out to eat and you notice your child's becoming a little unregulated. So we want to be able to provide some things that might help them. So having this stuff downloaded on your phone or on your iPad or tablet would be very helpful. My favorite one here is the Sesame Street app, and there's some great resources on here for lots of different things, but on this one of the selection is some things that you can do to calm down, and you can select it. There's breathing exercises and some calming exercises on the app. That's a really great resource for families. Another one that I found is called Super Slime Simulator. So a lot of kids like slime. It's really great for sensory needs. And if you don't have any with you, this is really kind of a fun thing that you can download on your phone. They can kind of push onto the screen, and it does just like slime would. It kind of indents and flows around their fingers, and it's kind of a cool thing for them to see. Another one that I included is a feelings app, and this is a really cute because it has some cute characters in it and it tells stories about all different kinds of feelings, helps kind of normalize what those feelings are and that all kids have them, and how to recognize them and how to deal with different feelings that you might be having. Another one that I found is called the Calming Bottle. When we work with kids, we often will recommend like a sensory bottle that they can make at home. And you can just take a normal old water bottle. You can put water and some clear glue in it. You can put glitter and beads and just different little small toys in there. And then we always want to glue the top if you're making one at home. And then that way, when they're becoming unregulated, they like to tip it upside down, put it right back up, and kind of just see the glitter and the beads, and it's a calming effect for kids. When you're out and about and you don't have an access to that calming bottle, you can download this to your phone, and it's a really cute thing where you just tip the phone up, put it back right side up, and it just kind of has a cute little calming effect for the kids. So those are 4 great apps that you could download. You can also, if you're just interested in looking up apps, just kind of go to the search bar, type in different things that you know your kids would enjoy and that might help calm them. There's music and meditation. You can just kind of look into some of those. And our resources, the first one that I put here is my email address. And I would love if you guys have any questions or would like any of the resources that I provided today, for you to get on and look at some of the resources that I have. You can just email me and I would be happy to send any of those to you. Some of the other ones that I included here are just where I got some of my information. Conscious Discipline is a great website. If you go there, a lot of their resources right now are free during this pandemic. So you can kind of get on and look around and see if there's anything that you would be interested in, to print off or to save. Great strategies to help with kids. And if you look at all the other ones, these are just some of the places that I like to find some resources to help kids and parents.